Shut up and sit down.
We're back inside Wisconsin with Brian Anderson, John Anderson, Trevor Thomas. Our top 5 list is coming, but you have some not top fivers. I mean, today's list is kind of special.
Right. So the top 5 list is my top 5 Brewer hats that I own, not just the so. But just to give you a hint of like the selection we had to go through. Well, look, first right back here, right, is my Milwaukee Braves hat. We have the all-time worst Brewer hat ever.
Awful.
But I have one because, you know, I'm a loyal fan. This is for you. I'm trying to get some of these out of the way. You know, I have the Booyah.
Yeah, we knew that one.
I have a couple of these. That's for you. What do we got here?
Hey, Green Bay Bullfrogs. That's
got your froggies. I'm
Love
always
that.
representing. Should
T-Rex.
always have it. I can go pre-Timberwolves. Are you ready? How many guys you know have an Appleton Foxes hat?
Appleton Foxes. That's pretty special. Wow. How many hats do you think you own?
You're going to stick just baseball caps or Brewer caps?
Just in general. Like how many of these type of hats do you own?
Hundreds.
Wow. That's awesome.
Hundreds. So we'll get to those. We've got a ways to go before we get to the top 5. But we got a ways to go with Brian Anderson first.
Shut up and sit down.
And enter again with Brian Anderson. Trevor Thomas here on Inside Wisconsin after our reminiscing of the Texas League, which really, if you get a chance, go back. It's probably not the same now, but I know they've reconfigured the league. Now, I don't know if you get to go to Wichita as much as you used to. And the Missions were the Dodgers, and now that's Tulsa. They've taken over the Dodgers AA franchise. But let's talk about Wisconsin and first big league players. The Brewers have been great, and they've done it with unbelievable starting pitching, which we used to think was maybe sort of a weakness. And they've done it with Christian Yelich just being kind of an everyday average player, not an MVP player. How are they piecing this thing together, Brian Anderson?
Pitching is how they've done it. Willie Adames has been a big part of it. We call it Willie Adames Day if you watch Brewers TV, but May 22nd, they've been an unrecognizable offense compared to what they were the first 2 months of the season. Willie had a lot to do with it. It not only settled him, it settled Avi Garcia. They're very good friends. Adames can become this larger-than-life presence. It's interesting how the I don't know, it'd be a sociological experiment to understand how a guy can have a ripple effect because of a personality. But he would be the guy that I'd want to have that test done because it's been amazing. So he's really settled the offense. It's helped Garcia get better. It's helped Urias get better. It's taken pressure off Yelich. Kane was out when all that was going down. He was injured, so he didn't feel that pressure. So I think there's a lot to that, but none of this happens without extraordinary pitching. The best pitching staff, top to bottom, that's ever been assembled in Brewer franchise history. We'll see how they perform in the postseason, but it is the best pitching staff you could have. Everybody's different in the bullpen. You've got the lockdown 3, you got the big 3 in the rotation, but the other 3, the ability to run a 6-man rotation and get this extra rest and have these guys fresh is because of their depth. And that's really the underlying story is they have so much talent that they've been able to totally line this out where relievers never pitch more than 2 days in a row. Starters are on a 6-man rotation. Now, all of a sudden, you're actually developing as the season is going. You're not feeling that burden to be like CC Sabathia and pitch on 3 days rest for 6 weeks. So all of that is part of the depth of the organization and the success of the team.
And it's been a blast to watch, too. I mean, there have been some seasons that are just difficult to turn on and watch for any extended period of time. Not this year. It's been different. I'm curious, BA, we've been to the playoffs. Listen to me, Brewers. Yeah, I'm just going to say screw it. This is how Wisconsin does it. 5 times since you got here in 07, but only twice. Obviously, 81 and 82 were the only times before 2008. Do you have a game or maybe a set of games that really stand out to you since you've been here the last 15 years?
Yeah, I mean, there are certain windows like when you call on the first memory. You know, I think my first great memory, other than my first game, opening day of 2007, because that was just for me a dream come true, and I had already imagined for so many years about what it was like to be a big league announcer. And then I'd given up on that dream. I went to the Golf Channel and just, I didn't think I was ever going to do baseball. But that first day was one of my favorite memories. That was the day I ran into Vin Scully at the urinal. And he said, you must be the new boy. I said, yes, sir, Mr. Scully. He goes, well, the job's great. It pays well and no heavy lifting as he's at the urinal. Anyway, but I think '08 would be one of the first memories. I think two moments in that season, Ryan Braun hit a grand slam against the Pirates of Jesse Chavez. That moment actually became an Apple iPod commercial, which was kind of cool because I'm watching the World Series that year, and all of a sudden an Apple commercial comes on and it's my voice. And I didn't get any money for that, John. I don't know if that's something
Happens
that
a lot.
Anyway, so that was one. Braun hit the home run in '08 against Bobby Howry of the Cubs on the last day of the year. CC Sabathia's moment. So there's a lot of '08 in there. But then through the years, Yelich's MVP season, there was a moment when Yelich and Braun hit back-to-back homers. That against the Cardinals, that was early in the season. That always kind of stands out. So yeah, those are probably, I think the day they clinched when Ron Renicky was the manager in 11. That was a big moment because I had such a close relationship with Renicky from all those years back in the minor leagues. I was really happy for him. And then, Trevor Hoffman's 600th save would be the other one. That was, matter of fact, we just had that anniversary, September 7th of 2010, 11 years ago. He was the first to the 600 save club. So those are probably my favorite children in the Brewers world.
That's awesome.
And chasing down the Cubs a few years ago was magnificent too, of all the things to go ahead and win the
your guy Carl Ravitch got to call that 163. That actually burned me a little bit. So back to your earlier question, Trevor. That became a national game, the tiebreaker, and man, we didn't get to do that game, and gosh, that hurt. But
bastards. Okay, so you've twice dropped Vin Scully on us. We get it. You rub elbows with greatness. That's awesome.
Yes, I do.
But you sit most every day next to Bob Uecker, or a booth apart. Like that's got to be
separated by a wall and 3 security guards. Yes,
but that's got to be an amazing thing over the 15 years to sort of see that show, that persona. How's he been with you and your role and that relationship?
He's great. The best feeling in the world is kind of like when you feel the sting of that tranquilizer when you walk in his booth and then you wake up from that because they don't want you in there. That's a great,
sure.
When you come back to consciousness.
A freshness.
After they've already taken you out because you're not supposed to be there. That's a great feeling. Uke's been awesome. He didn't talk to me for 6 weeks, when I first got the job. I went and introduced myself and, hey, I'm the new guy. He goes, I know who you are. Okay. And then I left. And then I didn't talk to him for 6 weeks. And I was scared to death of him. I was,
sure,
because I'm pretty good friends with Matt Vasgersian, and Matt was giving me the whole, hey, Bob Uecker, awesome dude, but there's some things you need to know. Okay. Anyway, he didn't talk to me for 6 weeks. So we go out. We were in Miami. And I walked past him on the bus, and he goes, hey, you're a golfer. I said, yeah. He goes, we're playing golf tomorrow. You want to play golf tomorrow? I said, sure. He goes, can you get us set up somewhere? I said, sure. So I called
that would be great.
All night, feverishly calling all my friends. You know anybody in Miami? Bob Francesco happened to be the head pro at this place, and we went and played. And Uecker, the first 9 holes, I get detailed on the story because it totally changed our relationship. But the first 9 holes, he told me everything. We talked about the organization, the history of the organization, who you can piss off, who you can't. This is important. This guy was here. Context for everything. It was unbelievable for 9 holes. And then we get turned to the back 9. He goes, we're playing the head pro and the club champion at this golf club. And he goes, I think we can take these guys. Because I was playing pretty good back then. I'd come from Golf Channel. I was like a 2 handicap. He goes, I think we can take these guys. So he's like, before I can even say sure, he goes, hey, we're going to take you 2 on. The old guy and the young guy, we're taking you 2 on. So we played them, and I played the 9 holes of my life. I was like 2 under,
Wow.
and we beat him. And thank God we beat him, because Bob then immediately, like the next day, hey, BA, he can play. And we were best friends, you know, and we played a lot of golf and when he was still traveling. So I'm thankful that he took the time to let me know how it was. But I feel like if I would have sucked at golf that day, we would have never spoken again. And so we've had a great relationship, and he's been really good. He's yelled at me many times. There are some Uecker rules that are involved, and I understand it. And I've never met anybody as famous, a world-class broadcaster. If you heard his call of the Vogelback Grand Slam, he's 87 years old in year 50 in the booth.
Yeah.
Never trained, never thinks about broadcasting, just does it totally on instincts. He's never taken any kind of broadcasting classes or anything. And he nailed that call so great. I mean, it was flawless in its execution and power and punch and time and space and everything. It's like, that's what we're all trying to get to as announcers. And he just does it because he is Bob Uecker. And he and Vin Scully and Ernie Harwell, for me, that's like, you know, the 3 greatest baseball play-by-play announcers that have ever lived. And it's an absolute honor to be around him every day and to hear his humor. He's so funny. It just pours out of him. Even when he's not trying to be funny, he's funny. And, you know, it's been like the coolest thing I could ever dream of in my life, to have been able to ride on the 4:00 bus with Bob Uecker every day to the ballpark. It's been awesome.
So Uecker is incredibly unique, right, in his position, but so too are what I believe to be Wisconsin fans, or just fans of the Milwaukee Brewers in general. There were 10 winning seasons from 1970 to 2007 when you got here, and there's been 9 winning seasons since. We're at the bottom of the payroll pretty much, but the fans show up in droves. For a guy that's a Texconsinite, as you call yourself, right? How special is it to be following a team like this in a state, in a city like Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's a big part of it. I was just happy to get any major league job, so I would have adapted or adopted any team that hired me. But I'm so fortunate that this happened the way it did, because now that I've been in the business a while and I've seen other broadcasters take jobs in markets where it's not important, or it's not nearly as important as it is here. I'll never forget my first year. We pull up to Wrigley Field, kind of rolling down Sheffield. We get off the bus and we enter into the right field gate. And when I got off the bus, this is the first road trip I was ever on. I got off the bus. This is while Uecker is not speaking to me, by the way. So I get off the bus. My self-esteem is all over the map. I get off the bus and some guy yells at me, "Go back to the Golf Channel." And I went, man, the level of passion you have to know that this first-year announcer was at the Golf Channel. I said, this is awesome. This guy is like, he's heckling me about my previous job, and I couldn't believe it. Like, the level of study and preparation that these fans are doing just to throw barbs out, not to mention just being fans. That's when I knew, man, this is special. Like, this place is special. When they started winning at that level, and now we start seeing 3 million fans come through then Miller Park. Wow. I mean, I've never felt that kind of like electricity in your body, that energy coming through a building before. I've called a lot of events in a lot of different venues, but there's still nothing like a closed roof Miller Park, now American Family Field. There's a great, and then the tailgating scene, you know, you think the whole town, the whole city's on fire when you drive up, because there's smoke plumes coming up from all the tailgating. And I'm telling you, man, I don't even know how to say it. I don't have the words. I should, but what I do every year is I bring a group of people from my hometown or from my past to Wisconsin. And I just did it this year with a bunch of my high school friends, and every one of them, when they leave, they go, "This is off the charts. This place is crazy. I had no idea." I had no idea when I was growing up. I barely could find Wisconsin on a map. But it's so good in so many ways, just to live here, to work here, to be a part of the sports scene here. It's why we'll never leave, as long as they'll have us. It's special, man. It's a special place. The music scene here. Summerfest is just blocks away from where I am right now. The music scene, the golf scene, everything that I never imagined would be amazing is amazing here. I grew up in the live music capital of the world, Austin, Texas. And, I love music and I love everything like Wisconsin sports scene. But then there's this whole other cultural side of Wisconsin that nobody talks about or knows about until you experience it and live in it. And then you realize, like, this place is special. I don't know about you, John, like you've lived elsewhere, but I feel like this is kind of Chicago in the 60s is what it feels like to me, before it got crazy, huge and traffic, and it just feels
right.
Still small townish, but still big city-ish.
So give me something though that's Wisconsin that still stumps you as a Texan.
The bubbler.
Okay, sure.
I don't get the bubbler. I can't say it. I've tried. It just doesn't.
It's a bubbler.
I laugh every time I say it.
Of course it is. What else would you drink out of?
A water fountain? No, I'm in the bubbler. I don't like Cream City though. Where do you guys stand on?
No, I don't get it either.
I don't hear anybody using that
ever.
I feel like that.
You guys know where that comes from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But who uses that?
There's a lot of cream color.
Right,
did
but
you ever
calls
say
that.
Cream City when you were growing up? Did you go, I'm from the Cream City? No, nobody says that.
I'm not sure I still would know where to find that on a map, and I've not even been into Texas.
I totally feel like this was something that people from the outside came in and go, wait, it says here in Wikipedia that it's called the Cream City. Let's make every uniform cream, and let's put it on, let's just have a whole thing. It's a marketing thing.
That'll
it's like
be great.
Christmas.
I think we should probably wrap it up with BA here as we get going, because he's got a game to call later tonight. We're grateful for his time.
They always have a game. Don't even worry about that. They always have a game.
That's fair. All right. Back to wrap it up with BA. Brian Anderson from the Milwaukee Brewers.
Ideas, great stories, people we should know, the great bar in your town, the fish fry you want to know, the fish boil, anything that you want to reach out to us with. We are happy. We are here. You can be the inputters. We're here to listen.
Shut up and sit down.